Welcome to Epic Ancient Warfare. Today, we're exploring the incredible battles of Greece, Rome, and Persia, powerful civilizations whose conflicts shaped history. Though their weapons might seem simple compared to modern technology, their battlefield genius still influences military thinking thousands of years later. The Greeks transformed warfare with their hoplite soldiers. These warriors stood protected by a large round shield called a hoplon, wearing bronze helmets and breastplates, wielding spears about 8 feet long. What made Greeks truly exceptional was their formation, the phalanx. Men stood shoulder to shoulder, shields overlapping to create a wall of bronze. Each soldier protected not just himself, but also his neighbor to the left, creating powerful unit cohesion. When phalanxes clashed, it became a brutal pushing match called othismos. Front ranks stabbed with spears while men behind added their weight. The stronger, more disciplined formation would eventually break through. Marathon. Greece stands against Persia. In 490 BCE, the Persian Empire sent a massive force to punish Athens. At Marathon, 10,000 Athenians faced a Persian army twice their size. The Athenian general Midiatus made a bold decision. He thinned his center and strengthened his wings. When battle began, the Greeks shockingly ran at the Persian lines, maintaining perfect formation. The reinforced wings crushed the Persian flanks, while the Persian center pushed forward only to find themselves surrounded. The Persians fled to their ships, losing thousands while the Greeks lost only 192 men. According to legend, a messenger ran the 26 miles from Marathon to Athens to announce victory, before collapsing, giving birth to the modern marathon race. Thermopylae, the famous last stand 10 years later. King Xerxes of Persia invaded with an even larger army. King Leonidas of Sparta led 300 elite warriors, plus several thousand allies, to make a stand at the narrow pass of Thermopylae. The Spartans were Greece's most feared warriors. Their society focused entirely on creating perfect soldiers trained from birth to never surrender, retreat, or show fear. Their saying was "come back with your shield or on it," meaning return victorious or dead, never as a coward. For 2 days, the Greeks held the narrow pass where Persian numbers meant little. On the third day, a traitor revealed a path that allowed the Persians to surround the Greeks. Leonidas dismissed most allies but stayed with his Spartans to fight to the last man, buying precious time for Greece to prepare its defense. A monument at Thermopylae bears the famous epitaph, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." The naval battle of Salamis. While Leonidas fought at Thermopylae, another crucial battle was brewing. The Athenians had built a powerful navy and faced the larger Persian fleet at Salamis. The Athenian leader Themistocles used cunning to defeat the Persians. He tricked Xerxes into ordering his fleet into narrow waters where they became crowded and disorganized. The more maneuverable Greek ships rammed and sank the packed Persian vessels. This victory at Salamis turned the tide of war. Without naval support, the Persian army eventually retreated, and the Greek cities preserved their independence against the greatest empire of their time. The legion, Rome's greatest innovation. While Greek warfare centered on the phalanx, Roman warfare revolved around the legion. The Romans developed a more flexible system than the Greeks. Instead of one solid formation, the legion was divided into smaller units called maniples that could operate with some independence, allowing Romans to fight effectively on terrain where a phalanx would fall apart. The Roman soldier carried pilla, heavy javelins thrown just before contact, to disrupt enemy formations. For close combat, Romans used the gladius, the short sword ideal for stabbing in tight formations. Combined with their large rectangular shield scutum, Romans were devastating up close. Roman military success came from standardization, discipline, and adaptation. Every legionary received identical training and equipment. They built fortified camps every night, even when not threatened, and they constantly improved their tactics based on experience. Hannibal crosses the Alps. Rome's greatest crisis. Rome's greatest enemy was Hannibal of Carthage. During the Second Punic War, Hannibal executed one of history's most daring moves, marching his army, including war elephants, from Spain across the Alps into Italy. The journey was brutal. Thousands died from cold, starvation, and attacks from mountain tribes. But when Hannibal descended into Italy, Rome faced a tactical genius. Hannibal's masterpiece came at Cannae into 16 BCE. Facing a Roman army twice his size, he placed his weakest troops in center and best soldiers on the wings. When battle began, his center deliberately gave ground, drawing the Romans deeper while his wings curved around to completely surround them. Around 50,000 Romans were killed in a single day. Many couldn't even raise their arms to defend themselves in the crush. Despite these victories, Hannibal couldn't capture Rome itself. The Romans rebuilt their armies and avoided direct confrontation while attacking Carthage elsewhere. Eventually, Rome forced Hannibal to return home, where he was finally defeated by Scipio Africanus at the Battle of Zama. Julius Caesar and the conquest of Gaul a century later. Julius Caesar demonstrated Roman military power at its height. From 58 to 50 BCE, Caesar conquered Gaul, modern France, through brilliant campaigning. His greatest challenge came at Alasia in 52 BCE. The Gallic leader Vercingetorix united many tribes against Rome and took refuge in a hilltop fortress with 80,000 warriors. Caesar, with fewer men, built massive fortifications around the city to besiege it. Then Caesar learned that a relief army of perhaps 250,000 Gauls was approaching. In one of history's most impressive feats of military engineering, Caesar built a second set of fortifications facing outward. His army was now between two much larger enemy forces. When the relief army attacked, Caesar's legionaries fought desperately on to fronts. At the critical moment, Caesar led a cavalry charge that broke the outer Gallic force. Vercingetorix soon surrendered, and Caesar's victory secured Roman dominance in Western Europe for centuries. The Persian war machine, the Persian Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BCE, grew to become the largest empire the world had yet seen. Their elite forces were the 10,000 Immortals, so named because their unit was always kept at exactly 10,000 men, with immediate replacements for any casualties. Persian armies were incredibly diverse, drawing soldiers from across their vast empire. Most Persian infantry wore little armor, relying instead on wicker shields and mobility. Their strength lay in their cavalry and archers, who could unleash storms of arrows while staying out of reach of enemy infantry. Cyrus and the Battle of Thymbra. Cyrus the Great's greatest victory came at Thymbra, against the Lydian king Croesus around 547 BCE. Croesus had assembled a massive army with strong Greek hoplites in the center. Cyrus did something unexpected. He placed his cavalry in the center, opposite Croesus' strongest infantry. As battle commenced, Cyrus ordered his cavalry to charge past the enemy line. Behind them came camels, who smelled terrified horses unfamiliar with them. The Lydian cavalry panicked and scattered. Meanwhile, Cyrus' infantry engaged the Lydian flanks while his cavalry circled around to attack from behind. Surrounded on all sides, the Lydian army collapsed, giving Cyrus control of Anatolia, modern Turkey. Darius and the Scythian campaign. Not all Persian campaigns succeeded. Under King Darius I, the Persians attempted to subdue the Scythians, nomadic horsemen of the Eurasian steppe. In 513 BCE, Darius led a massive army into Scythian territory, but the Scythians refused direct battle, instead employing scorched earth tactics, burning grasslands, poisoning wells, and constantly retreating while harassing the Persian columns. The Persian army, designed for set-piece battles, found itself chasing an elusive enemy. As supplies dwindled, Darius was forced to retreat. This campaign demonstrated a key weakness of ancient armies: logistics. Even the mighty Persian Empire couldn't sustain operations too far from its supply bases. Infantry weapons. The most common weapon across all ancient armies was the spear, relatively cheap to produce, and effective in formation fighting. The Greek dory was about 8 feet long, while the Macedonian sarissa reached up to 18 feet. Swords varied widely. The Greek xiphos was a short, leaf-shaped blade. The Roman gladius was a 2-foot stabbing sword perfect for their style. Persian swords tended to be slightly curved. Shields defined a soldier's fighting style. The Greek hoplon was round and heavy. The Roman scutum was rectangular and curved. Persian infantry often carried large wicker shields that were light, but offered protection from arrows. Cavalry and siege warfare. Persian cavalry was among the best in the ancient world. Noble Persian youths were taught to ride, shoot the bow, and speak the truth from childhood. These horsemen fought primarily as mounted archers. When armies encountered walled cities, they developed specialized tactics and equipment. Battering rams broke down gates. Scaling ladders allowed troops to climb defenses. Siege towers brought attackers to the same level as defenders. The Greeks and Romans developed catapults that used twisted skeins of horsehair or sinew to launch heavy projectiles. The Roman ballista, essentially a giant crossbow, could fire with tremendous accuracy. The military systems of Greece, Rome, and Persia established principles that would influence warfare for millennia. The Greek emphasis on discipline and cohesion, the Roman focus on adaptability and engineering, and the Persian mastery of logistics and combined arms, all became fundamental concepts in military thinking. Many of history's greatest generals studied these ancient battles. Military academies still teach the double envelopment of Cannae, the defensive genius of Thermopylae, and the strategic vision of Alexander the Great. Though weapons have changed dramatically from spears and swords to missiles and drones, the fundamental challenges remain: how to move forces efficiently, maintain supply lines, coordinate different units, and motivate soldiers to face danger. The ancient world's answers to these questions still resonate today. As the Greek historian Thucydides wrote, "The nation that makes a great distinction between its scholars and its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools." The greatest generals of the ancient world were often philosophers, engineers, and statesmen as well as warriors, a holistic approach to warfare that remains their most important legacy.